your life.
Welcome back to Modern Mommies here on soulgarden.tv. I am Alexis Ann Moore, the mother of a beautiful 3-year-old boy and the creator of the Superhero Children Project. And with me, I've got my co-host, Jennifer Perry, who is a mother of 3 beautiful children. And we have music intro today, too. She's the mother of 3 beautiful children, and she works at in the Dallas public school system for the last 17 years, and now is what is that music?
It's my daughter's Skype. Somebody's calling her.
See, told you. 3 kids. And is a school counselor at an elementary school. So really, she's got a ton of kids. And how are you doing, Jennifer?
I'm good. How are you?
You did a really good job keeping that together. I, on the other hand, am like, what?
I was hoping nobody had noticed.
Oh, yeah. And we've got Mary Neva with us, who is the Soul Garden's ambassador of children. How are you doing today, Mary?
Very good. We're trialing through our 2.5 feet of snow this last few days. It's been interesting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, I just immediately got jealous of the fact that I've never been able to build a snowman.
Never?
No, one time, but it was very sad and pathetic. It was about half a foot tall, and it looked like it was on drugs. What it looked like an unfortunate situation. All I got. So
I'll send you about 5 feet of snow. That way you'll have enough.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll let Zane open it.
Okay.
So we've got some really amazing stuff that we're going to be amazing in a lot of ways, both good and bad, that we're going to be discussing today. Namely, we are going to be discussing forced vaccination mandates and everything involved in that. And we are and kids, and we're going to be discussing some easy recipes to put together some healthy food at home in a hurry. And to start us, and of course we're going to have our hot daddy of the week coming up, so stay tuned for that. But to start us off, let's talk about something that's going on right now in the news. Jennifer, what do you have for us?
Okay, I have a story. We're kind of calling it the Snapchat bully. I don't know if you heard about this, but it was out of Minnesota, Prior Lake, Minnesota. But there was this family who had adopted a daughter, and the daughter happened to have been African American. And so she had a slumber party one night, something like that, and she was interacting with some people on Snapchat. And that's really a social media type place that really a lot of our kids are using. They like send pictures, and I think the idea is that you look at it for like 3 seconds and then it disappears. But anyway, she started interacting with 2 twin boys that started sending her really very racist messages. It is bullying. It's cyberbullying to the worst degree. But this is really more about the messages they were sending her. They were calling her like the N-word, and calling her parents. If kids are in the room or listening to this, you might want to take them out for a second because these really aren't kid words. They were calling her things like slut and fat whore and fat bitch. So really, really crossing the line. So after about the 4th one, the high schooler took it to her dad, and the dad, of course, was appalled. So he reached out to the kid's parents and wanted to talk to them to solve the problem. He tried to call. He tried to show up at their house. They kept avoiding him. Finally, he got a hold of them over the cell phone. And then once he got a hold of the bully's dad, the dad responded to him and said, well, that's not really that big a deal. We talk like that all the time around our house. What's the big deal, dude? Just get over it. And so the dad was like, woo, the big deal is that you're calling my daughter these names. They're racist. It's not acceptable, blah, blah, blah. And so the guy was like, I don't really care, whatever. So I guess a day later, the bully's dad called our victim's dad back and then left another sort of racist message. it was a voicemail that said, "Oh, I guess you're an in lover, and you can call me back, baby," or something like that. So the dad did it to the dad, which is just messed up in so many ways. So the dad called the guy back and tried to talk about it and said, "Hey, I'm going to do something. I just want to solve this problem." And the bully's dad was like, "Whatever, I don't care." So our victim's dad took it to YouTube and told a story about what had happened with all of the videos and everything. And within like 3 days, there was like 75,000 hits on it. And there was this amazing outpouring of support for this little girl and her family, because it's just ridiculous about just the way the whole thing was handled. So after that happened, a couple of days later, I guess I did some more research, and as of January 21st, which was just, I guess, last week, the week before last, the bully's dad, his job, saw the YouTube video and fired him from his job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at least, I mean, it brought up so many points. First of all, I was like, am I really so naive that there are really people that racist still today and they're saying things like that? Or is this dude just like an idiot? But I'm
going to say both.
See, that's scary, because we're not like I hope I'm not offending anybody, but like deep South where you expect that behavior. We're talking Minnesota. And so it just, I don't know, it was just baffling at the words that they were using and the way he was using it, and that the dad didn't have a problem with it.
You know what it sounds like, though? It's more than just the racism. When I did hear about this story, and my thoughts were, when I heard about the dad and what he said in the voicemail the next day and all of those things, it was like he was antagonizing the guy. He was trying to goad him on to keep this thing going. Yeah. And that's classic bullying. So it's more than, I mean, it wouldn't matter if she wasn't African American, then it would have been something else. They just chose whatever words would be the most bully-ish at the time. But to me, it sounds very, very sad that those girls, the bully girls, that's their daddy. Like, imagine what their life is like. Those girls probably have never learned how to love themselves. How in the world could they love anyone else? I mean, it sounds like he's probably laying on the sofa all day drinking like really nasty beer, and they're just fending for themselves. I mean, that's what it sounds like. I really feel for those girls. And now he's home all day with, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that's a weird way to look at it, but if someone's acting like that at that age, they're broken and they need help,
Mm-hmm. Well, and their example, that's where they're getting their example from. It was scary, though, because he was like a contractor at a financial firm. So we're not talking about, like, I hope I'm not Billy Bob. You know what I'm saying? This is like...
You hope you're not offending white people?
But, I mean, we're not... We're just... This is... I don't know how to say that without... We're talking... Yeah.
I don't work for the school system. I work for my own school system. I will say, yes, there are some ignorant white folk,
Well, ignorant anybody's. Yeah. But it's just amazing that we're talking, he's working at a financial firm. So that's somebody who's working next to anybody. It could be anybody.
Yeah, you would imagine that there would be some diversity in an office like that.
Well.
Again, though, I'll say, I mean, it might not even be so much that the guy's racist, as much as it is that he is a bully that is purposefully trying to use anything he can to inflict wounds, and that happens to be the trigger point for that family that they're picking on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't say words like that out loud. He obviously is capable of it. So there's,
Yeah, that's just, yeah.
Well, so with my son going to school, there are bullies at his school. They're not bullies like that at all. They're like 3, They hit when they can't come up with the words fast enough to get their toy back or whatever. That's the big thing. And so Zane, being that his mommy teaches the superhero children program, I teach kids how to love themselves. So he is like 3 years old. He walks around and kisses his hand. and puts it on my heart and says, "I put love in your heart, Mama." Like, good job, kid. But I'm teaching him, and what I teach my students in school. I've got a video on the Superhero Children YouTube page called the Principle of the Donut Eaters, and what that is, I don't know, did I explain that on this show yet? Okay, so really fast.
Yeah, explain it.
The electromagnetic field of any living creature, of the earth, of the plants, of humans, goes up and around and then down and back in and up all the way around you. And as a first grade student of mine pointed out, it's shaped like a donut. So when you're feeling down, which those girls probably feel the majority of the time, probably all the time, if you're feeling like you have small energy, you're feeling low, you can eat good food, think happy thoughts, climb a tree, whatever it is that makes you feel good, and you can make your donut bigger, okay? But most people don't learn how to do that, or they forget. So what they do is they look around for someone with a perfectly good donut who's not paying attention, and they go and eat their donut, okay? That's what bullies do. So you can either do it passive-aggressively by being a manipulator, which is really annoying to me, by the way. Don't do that to me. I won't help you with whatever you need. Or you can do it aggressively like a bully, okay? And what it is like they get their energy fix, but it's like eating a Snickers instead of eating a salad. Like the energy's gone really fast. It doesn't feel that great. They need more. So they go around just eating donuts all day, leaving in their wake a bunch of people that now are confused and have small donuts and are either going to build it up themselves or go eat somebody's donut. That's like vampire energy stealing, but put in a way kids get. That's not freaky sounding, but the donut eaters. So those girls are donut eaters. And so what I teach my son is to go to school, and what I teach my students is when you look at it like that, you see that the bully is not more powerful. The bully is actually powerless and is taking your power. So you can either just not give it to them, or you can turn it around and give them something different than they were expecting and be like, hey, you look like you're not having a good day. Like, you want me to teach you how to have fun? You're like, or something. You can completely change the script just by being aware of what's actually going on there. So those girls are sitting at home feeling like crap about their lives, so they're like, I know what I'll do. I'll harass this happy chick. And I'll feel better, and she'll feel worse. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yep. So, thank you for letting me go off on my weird little tangents. You know.
No, that was a good analysis because that's a great way to teach younger kids about that.
Yeah.
And kind of explain it to them.
Yeah. The principle used to be called the dude, don't eat my donut.
I love that.
Yeah. Dude. And I dropped the dude. It's now the principle of the donut eaters.
I like that though.
Okay. Well, so moving on now to another serious, even more serious topic so there's been some stuff that I'm kind of confused about what exactly is going on, but I heard that was it Colorado? No, Utah? Or is it Colorado, where they have passed something making it harder to have a choice about whether or not you're going to vaccinate your child, and then something about presidential action. Tell us what's going on with that, Jennifer.
Really, what it boils down to is there is a bill or a proposal law in almost every state to restrict parents' rights to decide whether they want to vaccinate or not. That's really what it's coming down to. Most states are either trying to take away different types of exemptions, or they're making it where parents are going to have to jump through hoops, or making it more difficult to be able to get a exemption for a vaccine. So like Colorado was trying to mandate that if you wanted a vaccine exemption, you had to take a vaccine class that was state supported. So the state told you which one to go to. And basically it was a class to tell you why vaccines were safe and why you should vaccinate your kids. And so after parents paid for the class, and after they attended it for 6 weeks or a month, or however many sessions it was, they would go and obtain a signature from a medical doctor, and then they could apply for the exemption.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, and so they're trying to make it so difficult or go through so much red tape that it's going to be really hard to start getting those exemptions.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is Texas doing that?
Well, this is the cool thing about Texas. Texas is one of like only
Hold on,
18.
you don't hear that very often. Go.
Oh, I love Texas. I can tell you all about
I love Texas too. There's just there are a lot of things in the news
Yeah,
often,
that's true.
probably because of the size of Texas. There's a lot of stuff that people get to tease us about, but I love hearing people say, here's a cool thing about Texas. All right, go ahead.
That's true. We do have some special friends here.
We do.
Yeah, okay, so Texas is one of 18 states out of the 50 that still allows like a personal or moral conscious exemption. Only 18 of the states out of the 50 allow that. The other ones are like medical exemptions, which you can't get because they pretty much ruled them obsolete, or a religious exemption. And so, but in Texas, you can still just apply for it by your moral conscience. And so Texas is actually pretty cool, but when I looked at how to get the exemptions, they still kind of make it silly. You have to like get on the website, and you have to put in your information and ask for an exemption form, and then they'll send you the exemption form.
Like
and
up to 5 of them or something?
Yeah, a certain number. And then they'll send it to you. You have it signed and notarized, and then you can take it to the school or wherever you need. And so really, I mean, it was kind of a stupid extra step, but in comparison to some states where they're trying to take away like the religious one and they don't have moral exemptions, Texas is way ahead.
You know what's funny to me is I would love to see some statistics on, you know, this country, there's a lot of religion and politics in this country go hand in hand, which is not supposed to be the case. But I'm wondering how many of the people that are pro-forced vaccinations are also very strong Christians. I don't know a lot about, so would it be Catholic too, with the story of the tree of knowledge? That Catholicism as well? Yeah. Okay. So my biggest personal feeling about vaccines, for me, I don't care what other people do. Okay? Beauty of living in this country. For me and my child, one of the things that, it's like the easiest analogy for me. I don't talk about religion very often at all because I teach what I teach in the public school system, and I'm very grateful for that, and so I have learned ways to use different language, but it just happens to be the best analogy for me, is the idea that we were created perfectly in God's image and in the Garden of Eden until eating from the tree of knowledge and then being cast out. And to me, that analogy, what that means is that we are perfectly created, as is everything in nature. There's no broken system in nature unless humans have touched it, you know? And we're talking about cosmic, like the microcosm to the macrocosm. Every single system works perfectly, except for what we do. So when you start thinking that you are smarter than nature and you can beat nature, that's when everything starts falling apart. And all of the research that I've done about studies done and this and that from the CDC and the health department and all of them, like they pinpoint one tiny part without seeing how it affects the whole system. They can't exactly account for the whole system in a lab. You know, they have to focus on one tiny little thing and say, oh, well, that makes this marker there, so that must mean it works, without taking into account the beautiful flow of how every system in nature works. So I'm wondering if these people that also say that we are perfectly created in God's image also believe that they are smarter than God and that their body is not working adequately without man's intervention. I'm just curious about that. It just is like an interesting kind of thing, because I do find that to be the easiest analogy for me to explain why I believe my son's immune system is perfect the way it is. and don't want it to be altered for the rest of his life by a shot. Just don't.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if what they would say is something like, well, it's hard for me to talk to because my whole thing is medical informed consent. You have the right to know what's being put into your body and the treatments, and you have the right to choose whether you want that or not. So I don't think anybody has the right to tell me that I need to have a treatment or not. I get to decide that. But besides that, I think that some of those people might maybe say that, well, God gave them the vaccine to cure that or to help that. God sent that vaccine.
We have free will. It obviously doesn't always work out in our favor. I mean, I can just look at my own life and find evidence of that. But taking religion and stuff aside, that was just a weird little side thought. I'm going to give you 2 reasons that are fairly new. I think I'm saying fairly new because they just popped out of my head. Maybe other people have used this approach, but for explaining why it should not be mandatory, because there is a shadow of a doubt as to whether or not these people know what the hell they're doing, okay? And vaccines bypass the body's natural immune system for life, okay? The immune system is very important. It is beautiful in its creation. It is just amazing. The human body is amazing, okay? So we have the CDC, we have the government and their expert scientists. So I keep seeing one report after another from these people talking about how anybody that doesn't want to vaccinate their kids is a quack. And really, the people that come out as whistleblowers and as pediatricians that have gone into holistic practice when they started learning all this stuff, like the way that they discredit all of their really good information is simply by talking about what quacks they are. Like there's not actually any valid arguments. I really want people to pay attention to the validity of arguments, because they might use fancy words, but if they're not saying anything, they're not saying anything. Don't jump on that bandwagon just because they use pretty words, okay? Like, you gotta listen to the validity of their argument, such as this, the food pyramid. Do you remember the food pyramid? Do you remember seeing it in the cafeteria all the time? Oh my goodness, I really, really want to give you an image of the food pyramid so that we can look at it. Here, okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll pull one up. Why I'm pulling this up, what I found interesting through my research is that the United States government is the biggest purchaser in the world of vaccines.
Oh,
and
yeah?
And so it kind of makes sense that maybe we would be pushing that and saying that everybody needs vaccines.
I'm about to post like a mega article, blog post on this, and I avoided the main topics because they're getting shot down, and the people that are so seriously pro-mandatory vaccines, they're not even listening to those arguments, even if they are valid. So I don't even want to waste my energy or time putting out the obvious information, like who's making money off this stuff and everything else. I'm going to give some other very simple, easy to digest nuggets of information for you to understand why you might be wrong. And if you just a little bit might be wrong, leave my kid out of it. Let me make my own choices. Okay, so can you pull up, did you pull up that picture? All right.
Can you see that?
All right, so let's look at this, everybody. That is, oh wait, that's not the one I gave you.
Oh, you just sent me one?
I did.
Oh, right here. Oh, okay, my bad. Hold on a second.
See it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so this is what was put together by our leading experts, everybody, our leading scientists, the leading scientists of the country. Let me see here what the gov.com describes it as. Well, they're our leading experts, okay? So they were brought together, people that are experts in obesity, nutrition, everything that's health related. They put together this beautiful little pyramid. Did you pull it up?
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So this is what I looked at every day in the cafeteria when I was a kid. They are saying here 6 to 11 servings of carbs. Okay, and look, you see most of that stuff is out of a box. Look, okay, look, you're supposed to have more servings of muffins and crackers
Tacos.
than you are of fruit. Tacos.
Donuts.
Yeah, well, that's a bagel. I thought it was a donut at first.
Oh.
Give them a little bit more credit than that. That is a bagel.
Okay.
But now we're finding out that this is absolutely a horrible idea. Let's see, 3 to 5 servings of veggies, but 6 to 7 servings of box shit. Excuse my French, but look at that, okay? The fruit, 2 to 4 servings, about the same amount of fat, but they're saying, like, avoid fat. I mean, okay, seriously, it's just ridiculous. So we can look at this and know that this is really bad information, okay? Do you know when this got changed? Was like just a few years ago. Just a few years ago. When asked what the heck happened, they said it was based on our most up-to-date science at the time, and it was, you know, we realize now that it's a little more complicated than that.
Uh-oh. Whoops,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
And I just heard, Alexis, that they are changing this again, and that they're putting more meats and good fats.
And good fats. No. Hold on. So they are still on the fence about whether or not fats are good for you, which, let me tell you, plant, animal, healthy, natural saturated fats are very important for proper neurological functioning. I have known that for a very, very long time. Don't know why our leading scientists don't know this, okay? The CDC said only 2 years ago, avoid saturated fats. The solid stuff at the top of the soup when you get it out of the fridge is saturated fat. Avoid that. They were talking about stew, like homemade stew. Okay, look, let me tell you, that fat is really important for you. It's important because not only is it important for neurological functioning, but it is important for absorbing other vitamins. If you don't have fats going into your body, all the veggies and fruit you eat, most of those vitamins are just going straight through you. Okay? And what's more is, okay, I'm going to get to that in a minute. That's my second point. I have a couple, and you're just going to have to let me go on this, okay? So the CDC, that was only 2 years ago, but what's really strange is that Harvard researchers at the Harvard School of Medicine put out in 2010 that this is a bad idea. Saturated fats are important. Here, have our food chart instead. Okay, so they're leading scientists, experts who trump the CDC and the USDA and the health department by years. Okay, years ahead of their leading expert scientist research is saying that no, this one that we're doing is based on the last 20 years of scientific evidence. Basically, the USDA and the CDC have had all this information for 20 years, but still haven't given us the proper information, okay? So you can look at that pyramid and see that it is most definitely responsible for the obesity and all of the disease and everything in this country. But they still aren't admitting it. So they are saying that by September 2015, their intention, quote, their intention is to look into the new evidence, period. That's all they're saying about their stance on saturated fats. Okay? Now, so that's one. All right? So yes, okay, so yes, what the hell does the food pyramid have to do with vaccines? I'll tell you, it's the same leading scientists and they're idiots. Either they're complete idiots, and I personally, with my own intuition and natural healing expertise, have been 10 years ahead of them, okay? Or they're lying. It can only be one or the other. Either I'm smarter than they are, or they're lying. Either way, I don't trust them to forever alter my child's immune system. I just don't. Feel free to let them do as you will with your children, but leave mine alone, okay? Idea number 2. All right, so I worked in college, I worked in cosmetics, and I sold sunscreen, a lot of sunscreen for this one cosmetics line, and it just confused me. Now I'm super fair, super, super fair. I used to wear Bullfrog, I used to wear like the most intense sunscreen and still burn all the time, so I know a lot about sunscreen, and I used to wear it all the time. But I was sitting outside one day thinking, this makes no sense. Like, we are supposed to hide from the sun. Like, aren't we supposed to live here? I mean, don't we belong here? Like, does the earth not want us? Like, I don't understand. Is there something, are we like the redheaded stepchildren that we're just punished? I don't get it. Like, we belong here. So what the hell's going on? All right. Plus, sunscreen is full chemical. I mean, you might find a mostly natural one, but it's still chemical. And you're putting it on your skin, which the CDC doesn't know this yet, guys, because we're smarter than they are, and they're scientists, all right? But when you put chemicals on your skin, it goes straight into your bloodstream. It doesn't go through the liver or any of your natural channels for filtering out bad stuff. It goes straight in your blood. And guess what the chemicals from the sunscreen do? They cause cancer. Ah! Okay, so... So also, guess what else? Vitamin D comes from the sun. All right? You can get it in fortified food, but that's chemically made vitamin D. That's not the way your body processes it. It is not the same thing. All right? So how do you get vitamin D into your body? Well, guess what? It comes from the oils on your skin. Okay? If you use soap and wash your skin with soap every day, you could just come from the lake, but as soon as you wash your skin, you wash all of that off, and your body, it takes 48 hours to process vitamin D. Okay? So I'm sitting outside on my porch just connecting all the dots and putting this together going, holy crap, it's because we're washing our natural sunscreen off is what we're doing. So if you don't eat the FDA crap, if you eat real foods, and eat that fat, and eat those plants, and eat anything your body craves that isn't like a chemical imbalance craving, like I love cake, not those cravings, but when you really want to eat that fat in the soup, eat it because your body needs it, okay? Your body loves you and is telling you, please, all right? So then your body secretes those oils. Those oils, then, if they're healthy oils from healthy real food, absorbs the vitamin D, and it takes 48 hours, like I said, to process it, okay? So when we are washing the stuff off of our skin, we are leaving ourselves open to skin cancer. We are leaving ourselves open to vitamin D deficiency, which we hear about all the time, about how Americans have a vitamin D deficiency, all right? I went on the CDC website. They say nothing about eating the foods and about the oils on your skin and the 48 hours and not washing. Obviously, they don't know that much yet. Okay, but it's interesting because there are a lot of studies out there that show it, and these scientists did research and showed it in the 30s, which all of this is going to be in my post that's going to come out probably tomorrow. So be looking for that. All of this information is in there. But in the 30s, they knew that it was important not to wash it off your skin. All right, so what else does the CDC say about protecting against the sun? Nowhere do they mention nutrition. Nowhere do they mention about your healthy oils in your skin. All it says is avoid the sun, wear sunscreen. Okay, protective clothing, shade, and sunscreen. That's it. They don't say, by the way, the sunscreen causes cancer. They don't say, oh, by the way, CDC is looking into. Why is it that it's been shown that people that live closer to the equator, they have lower rates of cancer? Could it be from the sun and vitamin D? Okay, so, and I'm putting this in my post also. So these morons that don't understand how human bodies work at all, no matter how hard they try, bless their hearts, they really tried on this one. They tried to find a correlation between vitamin D and cancer. Okay, higher vitamin D, lower cancer. They could not duplicate the results that they are finding in real life people just walking around, okay, like out in, by the equator. They could not duplicate it. Why? Because they're using synthetic vitamin D, because they don't understand that there's a difference between vitamin D you make in a laboratory and vitamin D your body absorbs through your oils. Like, they just still don't get that. I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't get it. Okay?
I think they get it. I think it's about the money. I really,
I'm trying
that's
to
what
make
it's
it more
about.
obvious because when you say it's about the money, then they instantly write you off as a conspiracy theorist. So these people are really, really good at writing people off without listening to their valid argument. Okay? So
Yeah.
so explain to me, if they don't understand, if to them the idea that saturated fats are good for your body and important in absorbing other vitamins and minerals, if that was too complicated for them, I am pretty freaking sure that the developing infant immune system is a little more complicated than that. Okay? I am pretty sure that if they have not figured out that the oils in our skin is really an important part of our body, and to promote that as a way to prevent cancer, because they already know it does, they just can't bottle it and sell it. If they can't put that together, then they don't understand a developing infant's immune system. Okay? And if those two arguments haven't given you at least just a shadow of a doubt of whether or not they know exactly what they're doing, and I go ahead and go do whatever you're up to, because I don't even know what to say. Okay, but if it does raise a shadow of a doubt, then let me make my own choice for my child, because I will tell you, all of these things I'm talking about, I already knew 10 years ago. I already knew it 10 years ago. So if I'm 10 years ahead of the information that they're providing, let me continue what I'm doing. Okay? And like I said, I'm going to put this post out, and it's going to have links to all this stuff. Okay.
And that blog is going to be on where? Soulgarden.tv? And the Modern
Oh, my
Mommies?
blog, yeah, it's on soulgarden.tv under the Modern Mommy blog. Find me there. I also posted on the Modern Mommies Facebook page, and if you sign up for our mailing list, about once a week I put a post, and it'll go straight to your inbox.
Yeah, so go sign up for that.
Yeah, sign up for the Modern Mommies email list. And join us on the Facebook group, the Modern Mommies group. Send a request, and we'll invite you in there, because there's a lot of good information in there.
Yes.
All right, so.
Okay, so you want, woo, that was a mouthful.
Hey, I'm very passionate about this. I know a lot, okay? And I really wish people would just leave me alone and let me do my thing. I don't mess with other people. I don't mess with your kids.
Yeah. Let everybody make their own choices.
Right.
It's really what it's about. Yeah. So you want to talk about some quick and healthy,
yes,
kid-friendly meals?
Yes, quick and healthy recipes. What do you have for us, Jennifer? You've got a handful of them, and you've got 3 kids, so
yeah.
Really want to know what you have to say on this.
Man, it's hard. Really, I'll be honest, this is probably not the best mommy trick. But with 3 children, we're always making at least 2 separate meals or 2 different things, because everybody likes such different things. Yeah.
Do you have one night that's like taco night or hamburger night every week? It's like,
well, we'll switch it up, but even if we have taco night, one of them doesn't like tacos. Or one of them doesn't like hamburgers, so we're still making a pizza or whatever it might be.
You do have a lot of people eating there, though, so I'm sure the food doesn't get wasted.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I mean, one of them is a teenage boy, right? So
yes. Who eats everything and anything?
My 3-year-old, he wipes me out. I can't imagine. I'm scared. Ooh.
Yeah, okay, this is the first thing I have for you. My middle child loves pizza, but if you just go and get frozen pizza or Domino's, it really isn't that healthy for you. So here's kind of an idea to still give them pizza, but make it a little bit healthier. It's a bagel pizza. And so they use a bagel as the crust. You could use a whole wheat bagel, depending on where you want to go.
Bagel? Oh.
Anything like that. They put some pizza sauce, marinara sauce on there with some chicken and cheese. My baby wouldn't go for the chicken. She would just like the cheese, but you can kind of adapt it to your kiddos. But it was something that was really quick. You could put together, pop it in the toaster, and you're done. And it's still, pretty healthy, too.
Very good.
So that was one of them.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. And they can make it themselves, so then there's no complaining there.
Yes, and they get to be part of the whole thing.
Mhm.
Another one that I found was a chicken fried rice recipe.
Ooh.
And that was something that the kids could be part of too and help you make it. And it was just rice, chicken that you could get. This version went to like Walmart or Kroger and got the already rotisserie chicken. You could do it that way, or you could just go and get chicken breast and slice them up and then saute them up in the fry them up in the pan until they're done. They just used rice. They added in snap peas and peppers, and then put it all together, and it was a chicken fried rice.
Mmm.
And the
And
snow peas. Oh, go
that
ahead.
looks like a good way to like clean out the veggie drawer too when you need to like just kind of get stuff out.
Yeah, because really you could add anything into it, whatever your family and kiddos like.
Yeah.
Really. Another one that I found that people raved about. Oh, okay, this is kind of healthy, maybe. I'll say kind of healthy on this one.
Well, you
But
know, if it can be done quickly and the kids like it, then it's mentally healthy.
right, and that's half the battle, right? So, it was a easy way to do chicken and dumplings. I guess.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yes, yeah,
Really?
people love that. And I guess back in the day, people used to like, you would actually like roll out dumplings and make dumplings out of chicken or out of biscuit batter. And it was a big old long process. They used canned biscuits. And they went and got
Whoa.
the deli rotisserie and put it together, used the chicken broth, added in carrots, and things that your family would like. And you take the canned biscuits, slice them into little slices, dump them in the water when it's boiling, and the way that it really makes like the real dumplings that you would have made from
Wow.
scratch, and it saves tons of time. And
You can find at Whole Foods easily, but I even am so happy I found at my own Kroger. I can't remember the name of the brand, but there's one brand, if you look in the natural section of like biscuits that don't have a bunch of chemicals in them. So it makes me happy.
yeah, and I guess you could get it and make them from Bisquick and stuff like that. That'll take it probably not to like a 20-minute meal. It may make a little bit longer, but it would, make it a lot healthier too.
Yeah.
The very last one I had, and I thought this was so fun because I was trying to come up with ways that the kids could get involved too. Because when my kids make it, they tend to eat it more. And so these were little Hawaiian chicken kebabs.
Ooh.
And they just took, chicken, and they sauteed it up a little bit, and then you could really put anything on there. Tomatoes, peppers. They did pineapple with it, and then served it with rice. And that looked really, really good.
It looks so good.
I know.
Plus, that would be cool because then your kids could be like, well, okay, so if you don't like pineapple, put on whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever floats your boat, kid.
Yes, anything you like. You could get away with putting out tons of vegetables and fruits that you were okay with and giving them sticks and letting them kind of create their own.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And so, because when they're involved, they'll eat it.
Kids love sticks.
Yes.
My
Yes.
kids love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh. It'd be kind of dangerous, actually. They'll
And
try
you
to
could
fight
be.
me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you would have to probably have a sword fight first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My pirate, by the way, he's growing up. He is now a Batman pirate. And it's the first time that he's altered at all in a year and a half. I'm going to have to just try to keep up. But he says it's okay. And sometimes he's Spider-Man, and that's okay, Mama.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Whoever he feels like being for the day.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, that was really good, and I'm definitely going to be trying those kebabs.
Yeah.
One thing I do, I'm trying to think of the name. It's the Immaculate Company, I think is the name of the brand that I use. They have croissants, pre-done croissants, but all natural. And I put in some chopped up broccoli and some chopped up like chicken or something in there, and then roll them up. And then in every few of them, I put in some chocolate pieces and honey and pecans, so they don't know what they're getting. And Zane loves that. That's a quick one too. Just kind
Yum.
of put it in the croissant as it's flat, and then roll it up and bake it the same amount of time. It's like kids think it's magic.
That sounds good. Oh, yum.
So,
Yum. Okay.
On that note, it is now time for our hot daddy. One more time.
Oops. Okay, let me
I
pause
talked
the
over it.
screen. Oh, there we go.
All right, our hot daddy of the week is Joe Lanning. Look at Joe there with his sleeping face. So Joe is, I've known Joe for a very long time. Actually, I've known him since middle school, and I am honoring him as a surprise today because Joe is a single dad with 2 boys with primary custody and wouldn't have it any other way. So he's like, that is an amazing thing. I think that's an amazing thing. He's a great daddy. I'm always seeing pictures of him with his kids. In fact, oh my goodness, I don't like doing this. I'm so sorry that I am going to be now scrolling through for a picture while I'm talking, but this you guys got to see. And Joe, I truly apologize, but you made this fair game when you put it on Facebook.
Oh, no.
Here's another picture of Joe and what a wonderful daddy he is.
Okay, hold on. Oh, man. Where does Joe live?
Joe lives in Houston.
Oh.
Houston, Texas, and he's got 2 boys, Jacob and Jackson. Jacob is 4 and Jackson is 2, and they just kind of tear up the house. There we go. Look at that, Daddy.
Oh, that is the greatest.
So he's committed, you know. That shows serious commitment right there. So, so we honor you, Joe, as this week's Modern Mommies Hot Daddy of the Week. Job well done, sir. Thank you. Well done.
Yeah. And is he looking for a fellow Teletubby? A pink Teletubby friend?
Hey, you know, I'm not really sure about that. But he could be. So
well, we congratulate him anyway.
I wasn't expecting that question there.
Well, you say he lived in Houston. He's a single daddy, so I figured if he was a good daddy, maybe we could,
hey,
you know, let everybody know.
He is a good daddy, and I can say that he is a good guy. I've known him since we were kids. Oh my goodness. So well done, Joe, and forgive me for the Teletubby picture, but I think it's great. So there you go. So that wraps it up for this week's Modern Mommies here on soulgarden.tv. You can go back and see past shows by going to the Soul Garden page on YouTube. We've got all the shows there for you. And we've also got, like I said, the Facebook Modern Mommies group. So find us there, and you'll see the blog posts as I upload them. They will be going there, so you'll find them there. And also be sure to sign up on our mailing list for information and all of that fun stuff. We are next week. Next week we're going to be talking about meddling mommies who probably need to mind their own business. Yeah. That'll be next week. Looking forward to that one. I think we both have some stories. So Mary, you got to be look up for some stories for that too. It's not hard to find.
Oh, really?
No, not hard to find at all. So that's what we're talking about next week. So join us then. That will be at 6:30 Central. Is it 6:30 Central? Today we started early. So 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern p.m. Is it still Mercury in retrograde? Can I use that as an for why?
Yes, it still is.
Okay, it's my time. Okay, so yeah, so join us next week at 6:30 p.m. Central here on tweettalk.tv. Looking forward to seeing you then. Until then, live, love, be.